Цього тижня завдяки старанням Провінційної ради КУК у провінційному парламенті Онтаріо влаштовано трипартійне вшанування великої постаті Івана Яремка.
24 листопада в парламенті провінції Онтаріо всі три партії зійшлися разом офіційним актом вшанувати пам'ять піонера цієї інституції Івана Яремка.
As the members know today, there's going to be a tribute held for former member John Yaremko, and there are a number of guests and family members who are joining us here today and will be seated in the Speaker's Gallery, and on behalf of all members would like to welcome them. Rosalie Yaremko, Anne Holada, Lucy Megas, Jeanette Cook, Helene Yaremko-Jarvis, Gary Jarvis. Minister without portfolio.
Mr. Speaker, I believe we have unanimous consent that up to 5 minutes be allocated to each party to speak in remembrance of the late Mr. John Yaremko.
Agreed?
Agreed.
Agreed. Member from Parkdale High Park.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and it's an absolute honour and a privilege to stand and speak about this amazing man and member of this Assembly, the first MPP of Ukrainian descent to be elected here in the year of 1951. And I'm going to start by just going over a bit of the facts of his life as told to us by the Globe and the Star. John Yaremko, who died in 91, was the man credited with the term multiculturalism. Now, that in itself, Mr. Speaker, is an astounding fact. One would have thought that multiculturalism has always been there, been in the air, but he was the one that first used it. It's since spawned a number of doctoral dissertations and has been part of the lexicon of Canadian coinage. He was born in Welland. I have a friend here who is now the current MPP of Welland sitting in front of me. He was born to an immigrant family and became a Hamilton Municipal Boys Council alderman at the age of 14. Imagine that. He used scholarships and jobs and steel plants and farms to pay his way through the University of Toronto and Osgoode Hall Law School. He was not, as we say, to the manor born. This was a man who worked his way up the hard way. He was elected, as I said, in 1951 and entered the public service in 1953 as a Queen's Counsel, one of the youngest to that distinguished order as well. He served under Premiers Leslie Frost, John Robarts and Bill Davis, and held a long list of portfolios including transport, citizenship, public welfare, social and family services. He was Ontario's first Solicitor General. He also, of course, was very aware of where he came from. He helped install a plaque commemorating Ukrainian immigrants in the Ontario legislature, and 4 years later he travelled to Austria to meet Hungarian refugees before returning to Canada to push for an expedited immigration program. And decades later, this same man became one of the first to push the federal government into recognizing an independent Ukraine.
The member from Etobicoke Centre.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I'm pleased to rise to honour Mr. Yaremko. For those of us who are elected members of the legislature, for those of us who have gathered here in the gallery as well from the Ukrainian-Canadian community, and for all Ontarians, today is indeed a very special day, for today we do pay tribute to John Yaremko, a great leader, a community member, a benefactor, and most importantly, a gentleman. He championed human rights. He championed the rights of the disabled, the poor, and the ethnic minorities, and his contributions were numerous. He sought to bridge the gap between government and new Canadians. He believed that Canada could be a place where people of diverse ethnic and religious backgrounds could live together in harmony, a way of life that is now distinctly Canadian. He was one of the earliest champions, as you heard, of multiculturalism. He not only advocated for multiculturalism, he actually made it a reality. He worked to ensure that all ethnocultural groups had access to government, but not just government, but especially to the judiciary. He encouraged all ethnic communities to become involved. Because remember back in the 50s and 60s, governments weren't that open and that transparent. And there was not a whole lot of involvement of the constituencies into government. He encouraged that. He believed government should be not only open, but government should be inclusive. He also believed that the diverse cultures enriched our society. And through the initiatives, heritage languages started with John, and today they are taught in Ontario and in our schools. He was a passionate person, so even when the issues were not his immediate issues, he got involved. And you heard about the Hungarian Revolution. The people revolted, John got involved, he went back to Ottawa and he said not only should Canada must do something, and ultimately 40,000 Hungarians came to Canada. He loved his community, you heard about his roots, he was there in 52, 40 years later he was there at the same plaque speaking passionately about his community, and it continued right through to Ukrainian independence. And he was so determined that we would be the first country that would recognize Ukraine's independence. He strove for that, and he got it. And ultimately, the federal government agreed, and Canada would become the first Western nation to recognize. He continued things after political life, and there were so many. He was a philanthropist, he gave, he established chairs, he did so much. But I want to say at the end, his most important legacy was his generosity, his public service. To all of us here today and to countless other Ontarians, he inspired everyone he met to public service. So there is no plaque out there for this particular accomplishment, but there is a plaque in all of us. It's our love and our devotion to not only an outstanding human being, but also to an extraordinarily fine gentleman. He has our eternal gratitude. Thank you.
Thank you. Member from Cambridge.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I welcome all the many friends and family of John Yaremko to the Ontario Parliament here today. I'm honoured and pleased to be invited to pay tribute to a great man on behalf of our leader, Tim Hudak, and the Progressive Conservative Caucus. Not only was John Yaremko a great Ontarian, he was also a legend in the Ukrainian-Canadian community. My mother and father were not political people, but conversations in our home often referred to John and his success as an MPP and Minister of the Crown. Coincidentally, guidance from my parents resulted in my attending, like John Yaremko, the University of Toronto, Osgoode Hall Law School, and later being elected to the Ontario Parliament. I am just one of the thousands of young people who found inspiration in John's career, his service to our community and democracy. Today, we remember John Yaremko for his many contributions to his country, an advocate and supporter of multiculturalism, a man dedicated to improving the lives of seniors, the disabled, and cultural minorities.
Після урочистостей в парламенті запрошені представники української громади зібралися на спільну історичну знимку і перейшли до зустрічної залі консервативної партії, де всіх привітав заступник провідника опозиції сам польського походження пан Джон Якабуський.
On behalf of our leader Tim Hudak, thank you all for coming. Thank you for sharing John Yaremko with us. He was the first person of Ukrainian descent to sit in this legislature. My father was the first person of Polish descent to sit in this legislature, so they had something in common, and my father sat with John from 63 to 75, so they were here 12 years together. And I know often he spoke very, very admiringly of John Yaremko. And
Трипартійне вшанування великої постаті Івана Яремка влаштовано завдяки старанням відновленої Онтарійської провінційної ради Конгресу українців Канади.
В парламенті від трьох парламентаристів, які осягнення в пана Яремко було, як він виріс в українській громаді, українській родині від великої бідноті, і тоді осягнув, став МПП, був вибраний міністром, і тоді стільки осягнув продовж 25 років в парламенті. І не тільки то, він тоді після того віддавав величезні гроші українській громаді і іншим організаціям на доброту української громади, а на доброту також Онтаріо. Так що, коли я прочитав про це і прочув про це, то я зрозумів, що це є людина, яку треба в нас, важливо, щоб ми як громада відсвяткували цю родину, але також важливо, щоб всі в Онтаріо про це знали, щоб це всі відзначили. І тому ця ідея підійшла, і тому я це зорганізував.
Було представлено в парламенті, і ми дійсно горді того, що доконав покійний наш Іван Яремко. Так що нехай Господь його тримає між своїми ангелами.
Я думаю, це було дуже потрібно, щоб ціла провінція Онтаріо не забула такого будівничого нашої провінції, людини, яка він був міністром в 7 портфоліях, міністерствах, і головне, він пробив дорогу для людей різних національностей, щоб вони чулися, що вони можуть служити провінції і державі на найвищих постах цієї країни. Я думаю, що це було надзвичайно гарно, що пан Яремко стільки в різних способах послужив нашій громаді і цілій провінції.
Надзвичайно вразливе, бо що ми почули тут в парламенті Онтаріо, з якою пошаною ставляться до людини, яка в Онтаріо була піонером, але піонером цілком інакшого типу, ніж наші піонери на заході Канади. Пам'ятаємо роки, 50-ті роки, коли багато ваші батьки, мої батьки, багато з наших батьків перші приїхали дітьми. І яку Канаду вони зустріли? В той час вважалося, що Канада не є multicultural, bicultural. І толерували других національностей людей. Але те, що, як кажуть по-англійськи, tolerance, а acceptance, то є дві різні речі. І цей молодий хлопчина одержував стипендії, тяжко працював і пробивався і пробився до найвищих висот онтарійського уряду. Перший українець-канадець, перший міністр українсько-канадського походження. І скільки він вкладу зробив. І він то зробив, ніколи не забуваючи, хто він і якого він роду.
I think it's a great thing that the Ontario legislature has recognized the accomplishments of John Yaremko, because certainly in Canada he left his mark, being the father of multiculturalism, his outstanding values in the community in terms of what he represented. It's just incredible. And it was very good to see a number of the members of Parliament standing up and talking about John, because really he provided a lot of inspiration for them as well. And for us at the Institute, he's certainly been a historic figure for us. He was such a huge contributor. It was very sad to see hear of his passing in August. And I think all the events that we've attended that are in tribute to him are really quite fitting.
Дуже позитивні, що така була людина в нашій громаді, який дали такий приклад. Це би добрий приклад був для наших молодих. Шкода, що молодих не було, але надіюся, що через відео, чи через інші способи, чи в школах наших, ви розказали якраз про цю славну людину, яка для нас зробила так багато і для провінції Онтаріо.